Long ago, in the land of Mesopotamia, between the great rivers Tigris and Euphrates, there lived a mighty king named Gilgamesh. He ruled the city of Uruk with strength and pride. The people of Uruk feared him, for he was 2/3 god and 1/3 man, and his power was unmatched. He built great walls around the city, towers that touched the sky, and temples for the gods. But despite his greatness, Gilgamesh was not happy. He felt alone, for no man could equal him in strength or wisdom. The gods heard the cries of the people of Uruk, who suffered under Gilgamesh's endless energy and demands. So the gods decided to create a man who could stand against him, a wild and powerful being named Enkidu. Enkidu lived among the animals, covered in hair, drinking from rivers, and eating grass. He was as strong as Gilgamesh, but knew nothing of cities or kings. One day a hunter saw Enkidu and ran to Uruk, telling Gilgamesh of this wild man. Gilgamesh sent a woman named Shamhat to meet Enkidu. She taught him the ways of men, how to eat bread, drink wine, and wear clothes. Enkidu became civilized, but the animals no longer recognized him. He had lost his wildness, but he had gained a friend. Shamhat told him of Gilgamesh, and Enkidu felt a challenge in his heart. He traveled to Uruk, where he stood before the great king. When they met, the two fought like bulls, shaking the walls of the city. But after their battle, they became the closest of friends. Gilgamesh was no longer lonely, and Enkidu found purpose in serving beside the king. Together they sought adventure. They traveled to the distant Cedar Forest, where a terrible monster named Humbaba lived. The gods had placed Humbaba there to guard the trees. But Gilgamesh and Enkidu were not afraid. With the help of the sun god Shamash, they defeated Humbaba, cutting down the sacred trees. But the gods were angry. They had not intended for Humbaba to die. As punishment, the goddess Ishtar demanded that one of them must pay. She sent the bull of heaven to destroy Uruk, but Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought the beast and killed it. This was the final insult to the gods. Enkidu grew sick, and after 12 days of suffering he died. Gilgamesh was heartbroken. He had never known such grief. For the first time, he understood that even he, the mighty king, could not escape death. He wept over Enkidu's body, refusing to bury him until a worm fell from his nose. Then he knew his friend was truly gone. This loss changed Gilgamesh. He became afraid of death. He asked himself, if Enkidu, so strong and brave, could die, what hope was there for him? He decided to seek immortality. He had heard of a man named Utnapishtim, the only mortal who had survived the great flood and been granted eternal life by the gods. Gilgamesh traveled far, crossing deserts and mountains, facing lions and scorpion men. At last, he reached the edge of the world, where Utnapishtim lived. The old man told him the story of the flood, how the gods had decided to destroy mankind, but the god Ea warned Utnapishtim in secret. He built a great boat and saved his family and the seeds of all living things. When the waters faded, the gods granted him immortality. Gilgamesh begged Utnapishtim for the secret of eternal life. The old man tested him. First, he told Gilgamesh to stay awake for 7 days and nights. But Gilgamesh, exhausted from his journey, fell asleep at once. When he woke, Utnapishtim showed him the loaves of bread his wife had baked. The first was fresh, the last was moldy. This proved that Gilgamesh had slept for days. Still, Utnapishtim took pity on him. He told Gilgamesh of a plant at the bottom of the sea that could restore youth. Gilgamesh tied stones to his feet, sank into the water, and plucked the plant. But as he journeyed home, a snake stole the plant while he bathed. The snake shed its skin and became young again, while Gilgamesh was left with nothing. He returned to Uruk, empty-handed, but wiser. He understood now that death was the fate of all men, even kings. The only immortality he could achieve was through his deeds, his city, and the stories told of him. And so, he ruled Uruk in peace, carving his tale into stone so that future generations would remember his name. Centuries passed. The city of Uruk became ruins, buried under the sands of time. But the story of Gilgamesh did not die. It was written on clay tablets in the ancient language of Sumer. For thousands of years these tablets lay forgotten, until modern men dug them up and read the words again. Some say the tomb of Gilgamesh still waits to be found, hidden beneath the earth of Iraq. Archaeologists search for it, hoping to uncover the resting place of this legendary king. But even if his bones are never found, his story lives on. The first great epic of mankind. A tale of friendship, loss, and the search for meaning in a world where all must die. And so the name of Gilgamesh endures, carved not just in stone, but in the hearts of those who hear his story. For as long as men remember, he will never truly be gone.